Namaste guys, ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Sunday evening here in Denver, Colorado. It is 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. We're jumping on for our daily dose of divine light, love, and power with our focus this evening on the love aspect. Now, you see me wearing all white, not getting ready for WESAC. WESAC is going to be coming up on Thursday from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Mountain Time, the most powerful time of the entire year to meditate. We're going to have thousands and thousands of pranic healers on from all around the world. Suresh, Namaste, coming together, meditating together, blessing and healing the earth together, evolving together, transforming the world together. Samantha, Namaste. And Karen, Namaste. So I'm not getting pre-ready. Can you get pre-ready? For the WESAC Festival, I'm just happy to wear a white shirt. But you wear all white, white shirt, white pants for the WESAC Festival. So tonight we're going to be covering love, the love aspect. And I was thinking to myself, hashtag ready for WESAC. Actually, that's kind of a funny hashtag. The love aspect is really, really quite fascinating. And I just finished doing some healings, and so I'm kind of blissed out and tapped into that energy to begin with. But when the heart is highly activated, which is the love of others, especially the love of those closest to you, friends, family members, your pets, it's a function of the heart. And then when you bless and when you heal people who you've never met, who can never repay you, or you send money to disaster relief anywhere in the world, Ushma, Namaste, that's a function of the crown chakra. So love of those closest to us, heart chakra, love of God, love of all, crown chakra. Love of beings that you'll never met, that can never repay you, that can never give back to you, crown, crown, crown. Universal love. So when we get on the spiritual path, there's a tendency for us to want to activate our crown, activate our crown, activate our crown, because the crown is connected to oneness. Oneness. So here's the thing. If you can't love those closest to you, right? The love you have for those closest to you, the people who you see on a day-to-day basis, how can you expect to love God and love all who you cannot see, that has no form? So Grandmaster Cho Koksui says, one of the fastest ways to spiritual evolution is by service and meditation, and primarily meditation that activates your heart, which activates your crown. So have you ever met people who are super, super duper loyal, giving, loving, and generous to their families, but outside of their family, they have no interest in spirituality? Jillian, Namaste, they have no interest in helping and serving those in need, right? Supporting a nonprofit, supporting a disaster program, Salvation Army, Goodwill, blood bank, food bank, right? They're like, I'm only going to take care of me, myself, and I, which is a function of the heart and the solar plexus, right? So the solar plexus is me, self-interest. The heart is interest for others, but those interests in others in our circle, right? Then you have people who have big crowns, who have a sense of oneness with God, oneness with all, and they're more than ready, willing, and able to reach into their pocketbooks and give money to a disaster program, give money to a feeding program, give money to those in need, but they don't have healthy, loving, harmonious relationships with their family. So their heart is not very activated when it comes to their family, right? And Ram Dass, a great spiritual teacher who left his body last year, he says, if you think you're enlightened, right? He says, if you think you're enlightened, spend the weekend with your family. Because our family, we have our most lessons around, our karmic lessons that we cannot escape in this lifetime. So by loving your family, supporting those closest to you, the heart gets more and more and more activated, which makes your crown more and more activated. So the harder way to spiritually evolve is ignore your family and just focus on activating your crown. It's harder to do that. Then you have people who just focus on their family but never do any spiritual work. and never have any spiritual awakening, right? So you want to do both. You want to love and care for those closest to you, love and care for those who are in need in your personal life, your friends, your family members, your pets, right? And you want to do your spiritual practice, which is universal love, divine love, sacred love, right? Love of God, love of all. It's both. It's not one or the other. That's how you rapidly evolve. But I've noticed a lot of people on the spiritual path have a tendency to have broken relationships with those closest to them, meaning parents, siblings, and children. It's sad, and it's part of the person's karma and the karma of their family members. But if you want to rapidly evolve on the spiritual path, you have to open your heart. You have to love those people who you might have the biggest issues with. Not always easy, always worth it. Just as we talk about inner work and inner growth is not always easy, but it's always worth it. Always, unequivocally. So that's what I want to share with you guys about the love aspect for this evening. You have love of those closest to you, right? And as this heart becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, it triggers and activates the crown chakra to become bigger, 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 so you can have universal love for God and universal love for all. Tina, but namaste. If you take this path of like, I'm going to skip loving those closest to me. Yeah, Karen, get it. I'm going to skip those loving closest to me and go right to the crown, right to universal love, right to love of God and love of all. You're making your path much, much more difficult, your spiritual life much more difficult, because you're having to force the crown to become activated, right? God, let me connect to you, even though I can't see you, even though I don't know how to connect to you properly. I don't know how to love you, but let's just start there. Versus, tapping into the heart, tapping into love, tapping into sweetness, tapping into joy, tapping into harmonious energies to share with those closest to you, with your friends, your family members. And then it makes it much, 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 much easier to activate your crown in your spiritual practice. Right? As Grandmaster Cho Koksui would say, spirituality is more than just meditation. Most of the world is not meditating. That's why we talk about meditation. But certain people that get into the spiritual path, who start meditating regularly, they forget all the other things that encompass being a spiritualized human being. It's not just about closing your eyes, doing prayers, doing mantras, or leaving your body to go to other dimensions and other realities. It's much, much, much more than that. So I hope that helps. I hope that inspires you to love those closest to you in any way you can, and to also love God, love your spiritual practice, and love all. Because your spiritual practice gives you access to the higher aspects of you. But this is the harder way to do it, starting at the crown. Easier to it's easier to start at the heart, which triggers the crown and then allows you to go to the higher planes and allows you to experience oneness with the higher self and oneness with God. Makes sense? So I need to rewatch this. I'm practicing forgiveness for family. Oh, that's nice. Very important. Yeah. Very, very important. Forgiveness is extremely important. Because that's, again, solar plexus, heart, main, lower chakras, lower emotions. Also, it's kind of interesting when you think about from people who are mental, they have a tendency to escape into their mental body. So they stay in their throat, they stay in their crown, and they process the world that way. Because being sensitive is painful. Me too, needed this reminder. Being sensitive is painful. It can be, right? Because you're like if you were an attorney, think about this. If you were an attorney who lives in the throat and the ajna, and you're always having to do pros and cons, and you're always having to argue your point, and you're always having to think 5 steps ahead of the other attorney, on the case, you're always here. You have to numb yourself to feeling certain feelings, because if you felt everything that's going on, think about the conflict between a husband and wife that are going through a divorce. Think about if you felt that energy, or think about a murder trial, right? The murderer and the family of the person who was murdered. Think about the energy of that. So if you connected to that on a regular basis, it would be overwhelming to your emotional body. So that's why they typically, not in all cases, Heather, namaste, typically shut their emotional bodies off, their solar plexus and their hearts off, and then they stay in the throat and the ajna to solve the case. I think part of why I'm bringing up that is I was watching the movie last night called Judge with Robert Downey Jr., one of my homeboys, and I think he's an excellent actor, and he really dug himself out of a career that was spiraling downwards because of drugs and emotional disorders and problems, and he came out bright and shiny as a new penny on the other side. So a movie that came out in 2014 is called The Judge, where it's him as an attorney reconnecting with his father, who's a judge, and it's really, really interesting. And the funny thing is, it says it takes place in Indiana. I've never been to Indiana. It's one of the few states I haven't been to, but it was filmed in Indiana, or it was supposed to be in Indiana, but it was actually filmed in Massachusetts, where I'm from, where I was born and raised, because I kept connecting to the energy, to the visualness, and then the energy of the people in the movie, and I'm like, I don't think that's Indiana people. That looks like Massachusetts, and then it feels like the aggression and emotional suppression of people from Massachusetts. Sure enough, Massachusetts. I thought that was super weird. But again, attorney, judge, they typically, not in all cases, right, I'm making a general statement, they typically close down their solar plexus and their heart chakras so they're not sensitive to their environment, right? So if somebody gives you criticism and you retract, it means you're overly sensitive. But if you know how to manage your energy, you have a strong Ajna chakra, somebody can be spitting in your face, screaming and yelling, which actually was one of the parts in the movie. They can be screaming and yelling and spitting in your face, and if you have a strong Ajna, you're completely and utterly detached. You're like, yeah, whatever. So what? You're not affected by it. That's the point. But nurses and doctors, because they're in the healthcare profession, they have to be, it's called bedside manner. They have to have a level of sensitivity so they can feel what their patient needs or doesn't need that their patient might not know, right? Because if your doctor was warm and loving and kind, you would feel better around them, and you would want to continue working with them and to continue getting treatment from them, versus if they had a cold, distant, objective bedside manner. That being said, when a surgeon operates, right? When a surgeon operates, they are objective. They're in the upper chakras. They're not in their solar plexus. They're not in their heart. Because if they got emotionally worked up every time they performed a surgery, how effective would they be as surgeons? Not very effective, right? So they have to numb or mute or turn down the volume of that emotional aspect of themselves. They stay here and here to get the job done. Does that make sense? It's really subtle, but it's very profound when you think about it. So Samantha says his wife was the catalyst for his transformation. She helped activate his heart. Their story is beautiful and his transformation was profound. It's amazing what love can do. Yes, 100%. Very, very good point. We don't want to ruin the movie for you. We just want to plug the movie so you can watch it. Called The Judge. The Judge. With Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall is the father. He's 89 years old right now. So when that movie came out, he's 85. Dhyana, namaste, and he was playing a 72-year-old. In the movie, he was playing a 72-year-old, but in reality, he's 85 in the movie, and he doesn't look 85. He actually looks 72. It's kind of interesting. Hey, we have something in common. Robert Downey Jr. We both love Robert Downey Jr. That's what I'm talking about. Strong coffee. Strong like Robert Downey Jr. So that's what I want to cover with you guys tonight. And again, pricking your mind, pricking your emotions, is that love is good. Love is important. You develop your heart by loving people close to you, which triggers your crown and allows you to access your higher spiritual nature. But if you say, I'm not open and receptive to loving those closest to me, I'm going to be a hermit and isolate and just focus on this takes longer to activate because the heart is not activated. Likewise, if you notice that you are too sensitive to the world around you, it means the solar plexus is overactivated. It means the heart, to a degree, is underactivated. And it means the Ajna chakra is underactivated. When this beautiful chakra becomes activated and engaged in the process, it regulates and controls the prana of the chakras below it. So if somebody insults you and you get all worked up and, oh, I can't believe he said that, that's a malfunctioning of your solar plexus, your heart, and your ajna. But if somebody can look you dead in the eye and say a horrible thing to you that's true, yet you don't react, strong ajna, loving heart, solar plexus that's regulated and under control. It's actually a very good test to find out where somebody is. If they cannot handle constructive feedback, for lack of a better way of saying it, they're an immature soul that hasn't mastered that part of themselves. Does that make sense? They're an immature soul that hasn't mastered that part of themselves. It's okay. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they're younger. When we say immature soul in pranic healing, it just means a soul that hasn't had many lifetimes and hasn't learned many lessons. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean they're bad. If you had a baby that did what a baby does, would you say that baby is broken, that baby is bad, that baby is fallible? No, you would just say it's a baby, and that's what babies do. Just like a toddler, who are my favorite because they act like little alcoholics that don't know what they're talking about, running around all the time. I think toddlers are hysterical. It's like a toddler, right? They just do what they do. They're constantly saying no. They're constantly rambling and mumbling to themselves. They're all over the map. I think they're super funny. But if a toddler didn't do anything else, they wouldn't be a toddler, right? That's the nature of being a toddler. Then we have teenagers. If teenagers don't give you attitude, it would be kind of surprising. It's the nature of a teenager. So when we see a younger soul, and let's say somebody gives that soul feedback of like, hey, the lifestyle that you're living is not healthy, and they become super defensive, they become overly reactive, they start attacking you verbally, attacking you even physically, that's a younger soul. What else would you expect from a younger soul to do? So Tina says, how do you help that if one is sensitive? Tina, I will answer that to you directly because it involves a technique, it involves a little bit higher teachings. This is a public platform, so I'm not comfortable sharing the practices on a public platform. So I can share that with you directly at some point. Maybe not today, right? Maybe not today, I'll share it with you at some point. But basically, when someone is overly sensitive, the solar plexus, right here where the lower emotions are, is overly activated. Right? So they're feeling their environment. As a side note to this, one of the masters of pranic healing says, you should be sensitive when you're doing healing and when you're meditating. Outside of healing and meditating, you should not be sensitive. How many people know empaths that they go into an environment, a party, a loud environment, like a sporting event, a gala, some kind of celebration, and they're all worked up. They're like, I feel nauseous, I feel sick, there's this, there's that. That person's overly sensitive. So there's a way to tone down and to mute their sensitivity. So it needs to be turned off. Not turned off, but it just needs to be turned down. So you should only be sensitive when you're meditating or when you're healing other people. outside of that, you shouldn't be sensitive. But there are people that have a very, very, very difficult time turning it down because they're so sensitive. That's part of their gift. That's why you see a lot of great, great spiritual teachers, great clairvoyants, great healers live where? In isolation. They live in the mountains, they live in the desert, they live in the forest, they live away from people because they are so sensitive to the vibration of those around them. There's actually stories of Zen masters that live in the mountains, and they bless the people, the villagers, and they live in the mountains, and then when they come down to teach, they smoke cigarettes. Why do they smoke cigarettes? Because cigarettes, the energy of cigarettes is very heavy, and it drops their energy body so they can be relatable to the people. So it numbs part of their excessive sensitivity. I'm not recommending, that you smoke to be less sensitive. Not what I'm recommending. So Samantha says, me, how do I turn it off? I am much better now, but I need to learn how to regulate suggestions. Yeah. For those of you who join the Twin Hearts meditation tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, remind me and I'll share the technique with you to make you less sensitive. I'm not going to share it in a public forum. Fair enough? Is that cool? Does that appease everybody? Strong cup of coffee. You're very welcome. So that's it, guys. That's our several topics covering the heart, covering the crown, covering the solar plexus, covering sensitivity, covering love of those closest to us, covering universal love of God and love of all. We covered a lot in 15 minutes, okay? But it gives you food for thought. And then again, as a reminder, UV, get it, girl. As a reminder, starting Tuesday, no more daily dose of light, no more daily dose of divine light, love, and power. We're going to be doing 8 o'clock, the daily dose of growth. Daily dose of growth. That's right, you heard me say that. That's my new catchphrase. If you have a better one, let me know and I might integrate it. But for now, starting Tuesday, it's going to be daily dose of growth, DDG. DDG, yo. The daily dose of growth, where we have a challenge in the morning. We do the challenge throughout the day. You'll all have plenty of time to do the challenge, and then we follow up with each other at 6 o'clock in the evening, Mountain Time, Denver time. And this is a way for us to practice what we're learning. It's called practical spirituality. I am more interested in talking about the same thing 20 days in a row than I am talking to you about 20 different topics. I would rather have you learn one thing and apply it every day for 20 days than learn 20 different things every day where you don't even apply it. Know, remember, practice, master. Know, remember, practice, master. Know, remember, practice, master. Everyone, know, remember, practice, master. Everyone, hold hands. Know, remember, practice, master. Where's Elena, Tina? Know, remember, practice, master. Know, remember, practice, master. So Samantha says, daily dose of practical spirituality. Samantha, that's excellent, but it's so many syllables and I have to write that every single time. Then autocorrect with spirituality, because who knows how to spell spirituality? Am I right or am I right? Daily dose of practical spirituality. DDPS. DDPS. It's not as phonetically pleasing. Oh, she is here. Well, what's up, girl? Namaste. Does that make sense? So daily dose of growth for now. For now. Daily dose of growth. Because I care about you guys growing. I care about you guys evolving. I care about us practicing the priceless teachings of my teacher, Grandmaster Cho Koksui, because he sacrificed his life, 30 plus years of his life, and an early death in order for the world to be alleviated their pain, sorrow, and suffering through meditation energy healing and practical spirituality. So it's about practicing. Again, one technique, practice every day for 20 days, way better than 20 techniques, not even kind of practice. Make sense? I know for a fact there's several techniques that I've shared with you guys over the past 2 months that you guys have not practiced. Not all of you, some of you. Paulina, namaste. Right? It's a fair statement. There's some things that I've shared with you guys that are priceless, that are practical, that will improve the quality of your life in some area, and you may have practiced it once or twice. What if you practice that for a month? What would your feedback be? What would your results be? What would your growth be? Like talking about willpower. Christian, I hear willpower is important. Okay, what's the mantra connected to willpower? I'm going to ask you guys right now. I know all of you have been listening to the streams. Which mantra is connected to willpower? Which mantra? Christian, you're all over the place. Which mantra is connected to willpower? Go ahead. Which mantra is connected to willpower? My hair is extra fluffy. It's got good conditioner in it. Jessica, namaste. Yeah, Suresh, get it, son. Om Namah Shivaya. So that's the knowing, the remembering, and then what's the technique? To strengthen the willpower. So that's the mantra that strengthens willpower. How do you practice it? Know, remember, practice, master. So that technique would tremendously help each and every one of you develop your willpower, develop the power aspect within you to make things happen in your life. But I can guarantee that very few of you use that mantra on a regular basis. It's not a judgment. No judgment. Zero judgment on you as a soul, as a person, as a practitioner. Nothing to do with judgment. It's simply making the point. That's an invaluable, priceless technique and tool you can use to strengthen your willpower to get things done that are important for you, or to destroy inner resistance and inner obstacles to accomplishing the thing that you want. But how often are you practicing that one technique? Makes sense, right? So that's why we don't need to cover 50 techniques. I promise you, because of Master Choa, because of being a practitioner for over 16 years and reading a lot and studying a lot and practicing a lot, there are probably 100 different techniques that we could share with you on all kinds of things. But who cares? If you don't practice any of them, it doesn't matter. But if you take 1 or 2 or 3 of them and practice them religiously, bam, your life is transformed. Suresh wasn't there when I taught it, but you're a practitioner. Oh, that's why. Okay. We'll cover it a different time. We're covering the love aspect. We want to keep it clear. The love aspect. We'll cover it again. Trust me. Why? Know, remember, practice, master. So, not to be hard on you guys. Love, love, love. Lots of love, lots of sweetness, lots of joy. May you be blessed by God and the teacher. May you be healed. Love, love, love. Okay? So, just reminding you. That's it. That's my job as the facilitator. Remind, remind, remind. Teach, remind. Teach, remind. Teach, remind. Teach, remind. Guess what your job is? Practice, master. Practice, master. Practice, master. Practice, master. Okay? Are we good? I hope everyone had a phenomenal, delicious, beautiful, super sunny, bright, shiny, hiking-orientated weekend. I know Jessica was tearing up with her 23 pictures on Facebook. That's right, Jessica. I pay attention. I'm watching you from afar. I'm super glad you got to get out, say the heck with social distancing, be all aggressive in the woods. It's nass. I was going to go do some stuff this weekend, but I had other obligations. But maybe next weekend or two, do something in the woods and the mountains. Who would have thought? there's mountains everywhere in Colorado. Strange, right? We have over 53 mountains that are 14,000 feet or higher, which is pretty big. Meters, that's what? So over 4,500 meters. So we have over 53 mountains that are over 4,500 meters for our non-US viewers. So love you guys very much. Hope you had a great weekend. Yours put mine to shame. It's not about comparison. That's right, Tina. You better love Colorado. It's not about comparison. By the way, as a side note, everything we've been talking about right now is a side note, the past 20 minutes. Please, from my heart to yours, from my lessons to yours, please do not compare yourself to others. One of the biggest traps I see people get into that destroys relationships, that creates envy and jealousy, that destroys businesses, that destroys so many things, is comparing yourself to others. We compare out of low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-image. Do not compare yourself to others. You don't know what that person's karma is. You don't know what that person's lessons are. You don't know what that person's family upbringing is. You don't know what that person had to overcome in order to get to where they are. So please, for the sake of your own self-esteem and self-worth, do not compare yourself to others. Guess who you compare yourself to? Yourself. Every single day. Am I better today than I was yesterday? Yes. Amazing. What am I going to do tomorrow to become just a little bit better? That's it. Karen says, so true. Yeah, Karen knows what time it is. Actually, I don't think she does. She never wears a watch. Jessica says, okay, no compassion. I just really want to see the mountains by... Oh, no comparison. I just really want to see the mountains by you. Hello, they're amazing mountains. Of course you do. They're amazing. I could take you to a mountain trip, several, because I have a little map. I've been to the mountain. I've done enough mountain trips with friends when they come and visit that I know the ones that will make your hair blow back. I will show you mountain trips that would take even more of your hair off, Jessica. You wouldn't even have to go to the barber for like a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? Tina says, and not beat yourself up if you fail. Yes, you fail and fall. You know the old saying, if you fall down 7 times, get up 8? But that number doesn't make sense. Karen's going to be the travel agent to get everyone out here. We're going to all come to Denver. Then we're all going to go on a mountain trip. And we're all going to do, what's it called? Yeah, we're all going to do like a retreat in the mountains. Blow your mind. I guarantee you, and I know I have friends who have traveled the world, and I've had friends that come out and have visited me, and they're like, nothing like it. Nothing like it. And I've lived by the beach, so I know what the beach is like too. I prefer the mountains. Gemini, air sign, mountains, grounding, earth. Maybe I'm looking for opposites. Shresh is like, I'm going. I'm leaving my pink house. Shresh, I know your house is pink. Leaving my pink house. The people who randomly appear behind me in the meditations, they'll stay. They'll take care of the house. I'm going on a 5-day transformation. It's funny. There's a benefit to knowing you guys. Seeing you regularly gives me more jokes. Hello. Anyways, I could talk to you beautiful souls all night, but my body needs to eat. Love you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Glad you had a good weekend. And then prepare. yes. Then prepare for your upcoming week. By the way, God, he keeps saying that. When you say yes, your energy expands. You absorb energy as well simultaneously. And Jeanette, I'm going to say, and I got that from Anthony Robbins at his Unleash the Power Within. It's a 3.5 day event, and literally for 3.5 days, you're saying yes, 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 and you have a move. There's a move that everyone does, and you come up with your move. I have my move. Everyone comes up with their move that puts them into a certain state of mind. Your state of mind is your focus and your physiology, right? So somebody who has good physiology, that's positive, their eyes are open, they're looking up, they're smiling, their shoulders are back, their chest is expanded. But people that have bad physiology, they do what? They look down, shoulders are hunched, their chest is compressed. Oh, I'll show you. And so physiology. For those of you who did Laughing Buddha with us this morning, physiology, what were you doing? Did you feel amazing afterwards? Of course you did, because you're practicing something. It changes your physiology. And then your focus. So whatever you focus on, you move towards. So if you focus on positive things, you move towards positive things. If you focus on negative things, you move towards negative things, right? So it's called Make Your Move, which is another joke that I did with a bunch of people at the class. Anthony Robbins calls it Make Your Move. Make your move, do your move, make your move, right? And my move was, like, I take my fist and I go 3 times and I say, yes, 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 right? So other people have really different moves. Everyone can come up with their own move. But mine was, yes, 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 right? And it gets me all jacked up. And then I do whatever I have to do. Because all you're doing is just changing what you're focusing on, changing your physiology, which equals your what? State. That's it. Focus on something good, feel something good, and that's your state. Someone showed me, somebody had a really weird, not weird, but it seemed to be overly complicated, because the more complicated you make your move, the harder it is for your nervous system to kick into gear to be in a good state, right? So some people just went like this. Yes! Right? That's it. Super jacked up. Yes! And then other people, like myself, I like to pull it in. I like to be the magnetic field that sucks in the world. Yes, yes, yes! Right? That's my jam. Just because it's awesome, makes me smile. I love that. So you can come up with your own make your move, right? You basically say yes. You can do it once. You can do it 3 times. I like 3 times because I like to be louder. You say yes, yes, yes. But it could be like something with both of your hands, like yes, 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 or I don't know, whatever people do. There's an infinite number of combinations you can use. It'd be funny if one of them involved people. So you would like grab their shoulders, grab somebody's shoulder and like look them really intensely in the eye and be like, yes, yes, yes. And you shake them. Like that's your move. So you could only really do your move, either imaginary person that you're shaking or you're shaking somebody in the physical world. Yes, yes, yes. Why are you shaking me? Okay, good. I'm glad we covered 30 different topics this evening. I'm glad instead of 5 to 10 minutes, we went about 40 minutes. Awesome. Grabbing a stranger. Wouldn't be the first time. Which we actually talked about in a stream earlier about grabbing a stranger. Not specifically grabbing a stranger, but it's called the principle of familiarity. So when you assume familiarity within yourself of meeting a person, they are going to pick up the telepathic message and energy blueprint of friendship. So when you, I'll give Tina. Tina is a perfect example. She tried to reach out to me 2 times on Facebook. We weren't able to connect because I already had 5,000 friends, so I had to boot a couple people who didn't have profiles or spam or whatever. Don't worry, I didn't throw out the good people. I threw out the fake people that don't exist. And then Tina has a gift of assuming familiarity. She doesn't know this, but she has a gift of assuming familiarity, and her assuming familiarity automatically makes me like her, trust her, and want to be friends with her, because that's her ability, right? She just is like that. I guarantee you, if you're standing in line next to Tina at a Starbucks, she would chat you up like you guys have known each other for 5 years, and it was just a normal everyday conversation. It's definitely a gift. For sure, for sure. Shara says, we just moved to our house and didn't paint outside yet, but we were planning to paint it pink. And you said how to pink house. Amazing. How to pink house. Tapped into the energy, yo. Pink, pink, pink. I love the color pink, but it's hard to like have it on clothes. I look pretty good in a pink shirt. I like little girls that are dressed in pink. Where else could you use pink? I guess in a house. You can use pink anywhere. So that's Tina's ninja power, is assuming familiarity. So when Karen was like grabbing a stranger, for Tina, nobody is a stranger. Tina, true or not true? Let's see how accurate we are. True or not true? No one is a stranger for you. Everyone is a friend. And purple. Yeah, that's my favorite. Indigo and purple are my favorite colors. Psychic. We're all psychic. Just to different degrees and different ways. Tina, I want my answer. See? So true. Exactly. Jessica goes, I've been obsessed in teal lately. I do like teal. It's a good color. Don't tell Adriana, because Adriana's one of her favorite YouTubers. Her name is Teal. Don't tell her I said that. Don't mention teal. She'll get all worked up. Ivana, namaste. You're late to the party, girl. Hopefully you can watch the replay, get value out of it. Much love to you on that. So, anyways, that's it. Didn't he say bye 7 other times? Oh, Karen loves teal. Do you love teal the woman, or do you love teal the color? What is teal? Is it green and blue? Or is that aquamarine? No, wait. Aquamarine is more blue. Blue and what? I don't know. Aww. So sweet. The woman. I didn't know she was married with a kid. Adriana told me that. I was like, I thought she was single and mingling. Single and mingling. Does that rhyme? That doesn't rhyme. Single, ready to mingle? That rhymes. Perfect. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot of Facebook people out there that are doing their very best to spread light, love, and power, and joy, and spiritual teachings in their own way, shape, and form. And again, don't get caught up with the finger. Don't get caught up with the words, God, universal intelligence, unified field, nature. Don't get caught up with the word. Look at where the word is pointing. That's more important. But Christian, that's another topic. You're right. All right, guys. Can we all uncord from each other? I'll see you in the morning. I promise. Yeah, we'll all see each other in the morning. Okay? Have a great night. Lots of light, love, and power to you. Karen's sending a big fat heart hugging itself. Is that a smiley face hugging the earth or hugging a heart? I can't quite see it. Comes up and then disappears. Doesn't matter. All right. Love you guys. I know my stomach is getting louder than my voice. So I'll let you guys go. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.